The latest batch of EX units has finally hit War of the Vision, and this time we're looking at an all-girl batch with Yerma, Nasha, and Etre. Today we'll take a look at their kits to see whether it's worth the investment to EX them or not so much. Let's begin with Yerma, the only UR of the bunch. First of all, in terms of stats, Yerma does get quite a good amount of stats by going all the way to 120. Her HP increases by almost 50%, which puts her from the squishy range to a pretty high amount of HP for a damage dealer. Her attack also reaches a very high amount at 553. What she does not get with her EX job, though, is more agility or more defense, so other means of survivability, not so much. Then the ability upgrade. The first one upgrades her knee breaker ability. Now, if you don't know, that's a line attack that pierces through enemies, so it can hit several targets, and then it will immobilize. With the upgraded version, it deals much more damage. You can see the modifier moves from a 121% to 165%, and then it's also a guaranteed hit ability. I am not a big fan of this upgrade though, because Knee Breaker has a height range of 0. That means you need to be on the exact same elevation as your targets if you want that to hit. So yes, in theory, an AoE 100% hit ability can be pretty useful. But in a lot of maps, the enemy can just plan around that, be a little bit higher than you, lower than you. So it might see play in auto combat, but in manual play, definitely not so much, and even in auto, if you're unlucky, you won't be able to place that. Her second upgrade upgrades her body slam ability. So that's her highest modifier attack. At 270% is very, very high. And what the upgrade does is it reduces the delay. So originally, Yerma will not use body slam very frequently because it will not resolve before the enemy moves away from her ability. But with this upgrade, she will actually use it, and it will be her hardest hitting single target attack. Is that a game changer though? Not so much. In a lot of cases, when Yerma's in front of the enemy could be grouped, and then she can use Killing Axe, which also deals a lot of damage. So that means if you plan on getting her to 115, the biggest upgrade you're getting are the stats. So maybe not the best investment. If you do get her all the way to 120 though, you now get access to a new ability that really helps her out. This new ability has a longer range than anything else in her kit, and range is one of Yerma's main weaknesses. The fact that she can't hit enemies from a long distance means she usually dies before she gets the chance to hit. But with this new ability, she will have a reliable ranged attack that deals pretty good damage. 165 is a decent mod, and then it will also break barriers. And for this specific hit, she will have 50% defense penetration. So if she's attacking high defense targets, she now has ways to deal damage to them and a way to break barriers. That makes her a much more reliable attacker. So if you do plan on EXing Yerma, I think you have to go all the way to 120, because the big prize is that new ability. The second character upgrade we have is Nasha. If you've been watching my content for a long time, you know I'm going to build her. I'm a big fan of her character, so I'll definitely go for it. The first really good upgrade she gets is a lot more HP. With this upgrade, she goes from around 3000 HP to over 5000, which is among the highest in the game. With this, she'll really be hard to take down. Her attack also increases a little bit, but at a total of 341, she's not an offensive powerhouse. That's not her role, and though she might do a bit of damage, don't count on it to carry your team. She also gets a bit more agility and defense, which really helps her out, but even at 49 agility, she is one of the slowest characters in the game right now. So you will have to find ways to either slow down the rest of your team or make her a lot faster if you want her to tank properly. Because if she's behind the rest of your team, well, she won't be doing much in terms of tanking. She also gets some pretty good ability upgrades. The first one is an upgrade to her Paladin Guard counter ability. So when she uses that, she reduces the physical damage taken by 45%, and now the chance to proc goes from 20% to 30%. If you're wondering how often 30% is gonna proc, it's the same proc rate as Aeon Bond from Yuna. I feel like Aeon Bond procs all the time, so I'm expecting Paladin's Guard to have the same feeling. Then her other ability is an upgrade to her Saintly Wall. The upgrade makes it so that her Saintly Wall now reduces damage from any type, so not just physical. That means you can now take Nasha against magic-based teams, and while it won't be her forte because she's really tailored more towards defense than anything else, she will still be able to take a couple magic attacks before going down. So that makes her a much more versatile tank. Finally, if you take her all the way to 120, I think the new ability she gets is an interesting one. She gets the ability to increase her own single target resistance by 25% for 3 turns, and then nullify poison, stop, and immobilize, which means she's going to be immune to those status effects for 3 turns as well. That's pretty interesting. You could go for a single target build using Nasha, making sure that she's away from the rest of your team, and then use this buff, give her Odin or somebody on your team Odin, and then the enemies will kind of have to waste their high AP cost AoE attacks on Nasha, even if she's alone, because single target damage won't do much against her. I think there are some scenarios where this will be pretty good. Overall, though, you could get her to 115, and I think you'll get most of the performance out of her, because this new ability will not be useful in every matchup, and now most characters have access to AoE attacks, so it's not like you'll completely block the damage off of most characters. Also, just the stats from leveling her are insane. If you do want a new tank, she will be pretty tanky, that's for sure. Now, last character, Etre. I do think her EX job out of the 3 is the less interesting one. First off, she gains some HP, but 2800 for an EX job unit is fairly low. Her attack goes up by a lot, to a total of 428, so that's going to help her attack, but it's still not top tier for EX units. Then she gains some agility, and at 61, she's not slow, she's not the fastest either, so that's fine. The stats increases are okay if you want to make her work. They're definitely necessary for her, but she doesn't get anything outstanding. And then in terms of ability upgrades, her first upgrade means that with her increased HP up passive from the monk job, she now has increased slash and pierce resistance. Now that seems good, but initially she has -5 slash and pierce resistance. So overall, she's just standing at a total 10% slash and pierce resist. She's not especially tanky, even with that upgrade, so meh. Then her second upgrade increases her countdown ability so that if you do inflict doom with it, it will take only 3 turns before the target dies instead of 4. Have you guys ever leveraged doom against anything? I know I haven't, aside from some cheeky live PvP play where I would charm the enemy and then doom him so that at the end of the charm he would die, but that's pretty much it. So is that going to see much play? I really don't think so. Then if you get her all the way to 120, you gain a new ability, which is pretty cool. It will hit the 2 tiles in any direction you target, with a pretty high damage ability that has a chance to confuse and a chance to berserk. That's good. It's RNG because it's based on status effects, but when you have 2 different status effects you can apply, odds are you'll get one of them at some point. So I think that ability is worth it, but do you want to invest all the resources it takes to bring a unit all the way to 120 just for that? I'm not so sure. So what's my overall verdict? I think this batch, if you're looking to make investments to make your account stronger and make it more competitive in PvP or help you clear more content, you can skip this batch very safely. They are units that are there mainly for fun, but these EX upgrades do not really make them competitive compared to what's available elsewhere. Why would you run Yerma when you can run Tabi? Why would you run Nasha when you can run King Mont? And why would you run Etre when you can run Gziza, possibly? There are already really good options out there for the roles that these units fill in the game, so you definitely don't need to go for any of them. Personally, I might do Yerma just because I have nostalgia. She was my initial carry in the game, and when Orlando was released and I skipped him, I would fight him using Yerma all the time, and it was really fun. I will do Nasha because I've skipped Agrias, I've skipped Warrior of Light, I did not pull King Mont, so my only real tank right now is Rain, who is more of a magic tank. So I think having Nasha for my account will actually bring a lot of benefit. Also, I really love her design. I like the fact that she's a lady in heavy armor, and I like her shield, so I'll go for her. Etre, I might just for the selection quests, but my idea is I'll take all the Mind Spheres I can get so that I can get her to 120, and then I'll see if I struggle with the selection quest before EXing her. And then if I do EX her, it will really be for her 120 ability that has that chance of status effects, because I feel like that might turn the selection quests around. So I'll see how that goes, but that's my thoughts on all these 3 units. So that was it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learned a thing or two, and then it helps you with your decision making. If you are going to EX some of them, please let me know. I want to meet players who do make that decision, and then I want to understand why people do it. So again, if you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It will make it likely that you see my content in the future. And then thank you so much for your time and have a great rest of your day.